Hey guys, what's up? How ya doing? I'm here to talk to you guys about the new episode of Fire Force Season 3 on episode 14, or Fire Force Season 3 Part 2 on episode 2, whichever that fits for you correctly. This episode right here was Benimaru's Spotlight episode, which I thought it was pretty cool to see. If you watch the episode, that's pretty cool, but I'm going to put it in simple words, so don't be surprised if it's really short and very implicit detail. So if anything else, let's just get this started. We get to see Benimaru having a flashback, or we get to see a backstory of Benimaru having his relationship with someone named Shinmon Hibachi, which was the previous chief before Benimaru took over. Well, I think before another chief took over. Other than that, Benimaru will later on watch the TV and see some inferno that looks like Hibachi, which apparently he came back from the dead, which we don't really know how. But whatever the situation, all I can really tell you is that Shinmon Benimaru gets ready to clash against Hibachi in his inferno form, and they end up fighting each other, and we get to know more about the backstory. We got to know that this guy is actually very rough with Benimaru because he wants to see his resolve, and knowing him, if he's going to take over, he has to be his own man or try to mature fast, otherwise he doesn't get it. By that time, we get to see that the old man was very brutal even when it comes to infernos. Of course, when it came to the boy who apparently his mother was turned into an infernal, her name was Sekchan, and of course the mother's son is pretty much saying, hey, please spare my mother, but he goes like, I'm sorry, I can't do that, this has to be done. And therefore Benimaru, on the other hand, stopped the boy from interfering, saying this needs to happen, it can't be helped at all. And of course this will come back to bite him, because this boy will later on stab the old man in the back with a knife, and hates him very much, because he goes like, you know, everyone seems to like you, but I don't understand it at all. What authority do you have to go around taking lives like that? And then the guy's like, I don't know, even I don't understand it either. All my life, all I could think about is like do what I think needs to be done, son. That's why the head of Asakashi's Hikashi can never be someone sensible. I'm telling you this right now. And eventually, the guy ends up dying in that backstory, and then we get to see Hibachi and Benimaru facing against each other in martial arts combat and fire force abilities. Eventually, all I can really tell you is that Benimaru does clash against Hibachi without much trouble, I guess, depending on how you look at it. And he eventually defeats and kills him and sends him off in peace, saying, "Hey, everything's gonna be okay. You can go ahead and take your rest. Don't worry about us." And eventually, like I said, he does kill him with his own like technique that's a Nichirin, I guess. That his own technique of Nichirin. Owner of the sun and the moon, I guess, which I thought was pretty Nichirin Akatsuki or something like that. So that was pretty cool. I thought that was pretty cool. But other than that, he goes like, well, good job out there, kid, not bad. So yeah. Then we get to see the preview of next episode called Birth. So it looks like to me there were some voices from Sho in the preview in the next episode. So it looks like we may get a spotlight of him, and he might want to know about a certain truth beforehand. So yeah. So pretty much this was like I said, this was Benimaru's episode, and he was the spotlight. So if anything else, like it was him facing off of a revived Inferno of Hibachi, and then they end up clashing. Benimaru kills him and puts him at peace, saying, hey, everything's going to be okay, with his own technique. So that's about it. See you guys later. I'm off Vizito. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Ta-da!